how long haven't I made a video for? It's been a few months, hasn't it? Yeah, it has. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I suppose you're telling me welcome back because it's been a while. It's been a good while actually. I can't even remember. I know that my last video was a summer makeup look, and I think it was the last summer look that I was going to film, that I had planned filming, and it was the honey one. So that must have been maybe July or August. We're now in January 2020. What? How did that happen? That's come around quick, hasn't it? So, alright, so what's been happening? So the whole reason I had to stop making videos was because our bathroom was unexpectedly, I keep looking out because I'm looking this way because there's my bedroom window, there's a bedroom window there and somebody's getting out of their car and it's just distracting me. Anyway, our bathroom, it used to be a wet room, you know, when you don't have a bathtub, you've just got a shower, but it's not like in a cubicle or anything like that, it's just in the room on the wall. We had a load of issues with the wall that it was attached to, and so they had to knock the wall down, which I'm pointing this way because it was this wall. They had to knock the wall down, which separated the wet room and the bedroom, which is where I'm filming now. Knocked that down and they completely redid the whole, or nearly the whole bathroom, turned it into a full bathroom, which I was really happy about. Now I have a bathtub and I'm really happy about that because I did miss my baths. Obviously when you've just got a wet room, you've got no choice. So we just had a shower and now we have a bath, and we're gonna install a shower soon. So that happened. That was ongoing for weeks. I wasn't even living in my flat because it was full of dust. Like, there was dust everywhere. Obviously we didn't have a working bathroom and we didn't have a wall that separated the bathroom with our bedroom, so there was nowhere for us to sleep. I mean, we could have slept in the front room, but it was about 3 or 4 weeks that was going on for, and I had nowhere to film, so had to stop filming. And then after that, so I usually film on Saturdays. I'll film like 2 or 3 videos and then edit them and upload them throughout the week. After that, every Saturday was kind of, for September, was just really busy. So I had, I think I had a baby shower to go to, I had a christening to go to, we had something else to go to, and then before I knew it, it was Christmas. And I was like, oh, haven't filmed or uploaded in a few months, best get back onto that. And then something else happened. I am having a baby. So this baby was long awaited, deliberate. We were trying for 13 months and we had an ectopic pregnancy in the May before I got pregnant with this baby. So I'm currently, I'll be 15 weeks in 2 days. We've had about 4 scans because we had a couple of early scans because of the ectopic that I had before. Baby is doing good. We've had our 12-week scan. Baby is looking all fine. We've had the screening tests done that the NHS do and it's looking good. We've also got a private gender scan booked for the 25th January. So I'm very excited to find out what we're having, and yes, we will find out what we're having. We're not keeping it a secret because I I don't think we're going to be able to. We're just, like, we couldn't even keep this pregnancy a secret for long because we were so excited that it was actually happening, and I'm out of breath. That's pregnancy. Yes, it is. So, I think this video is just going to be a little bit of an update, and I'm going to do my 4 to 14 weeks pregnancy update. So if you're not too interested in pregnancy videos and you don't want to hear any TMI information, TMI, how do you say that? TMI details, too much, whatever. Anything TMI to do with pregnancy and bodies, you know, then just wherever the X is on this video, click that and don't watch this video. But if you're interested in that, then just keep on watching. Like I said, we had been trying for this baby for 13 months. How should I start this? Didn't really plan that. Yeah, so a little bit of a backstory. I suppose this could be like a TTC journey kind of a video as well. And if you've no idea what TTC is, it's trying to conceive. So when I was 16 is when I first ever went on the pill. I think it was the month after my 16th birthday. Because I had been in a relationship since I was quite young. I was about 14 and a half. And I was still in that same relationship, so decided to go on the pill when I was 16. And I was on the pill for about 5 years. And after 5 years, I kind of got a little bit fed up of the pill because I noticed it was making me a little bit moody. I would break out a little bit. I kind of looked, I just looked bloated, like my face. And it wasn't fat at that point, it was just bloat. And I just looked swollen. So, and I kept taking the pill all different times of the day, and it just wasn't particularly reliable for us. So I came off of the pill after about 5 years, and then I decided to go on the implant, which it's like a little rod that's about the size of a bobby pin, and it goes in your arm underneath. So I had that in for about 5 years. And then February 2018, it was actually on my mum's birthday that year that I got the implant removed, because we knew that we wanted to start trying for a baby pretty soon. And at that point, I'd been on contraception for 10 years. And so I just thought maybe my body needs a little bit of a break before we start trying for a baby. So took that out, and it actually turns out that the hormonal contraception that I was on was actually hiding the fact that I had PCOS. So that was a little bit of a shock to me to find out that I had PCOS, because obviously I'd been on this hormonal contraception for 10 years, and the hormonal contraception does things to your body and your cycle that wouldn't make you think twice about why you haven't had a cycle in 6 months, for example. So I had regular periods on the pill, but I didn't have a period at all on the implant. And I thought to myself, this is great. I don't need to deal with periods at the moment. I love it. But turns out that it was actually just masking the fact that I had PCOS that whole time. So that's not good. So I wasn't due to take that out until the November 2018, but I took it out in February because I just wanted to give my body a little bit of a break. And we knew that by the end of 2018, we were going to start trying for a baby anyway. So it didn't really matter. So I took that out, and I didn't get a period until June. And then I had one in July, and I thought to myself, okay, it's probably regulating itself out by now. And at this point, I didn't know that I had PCOS. It wasn't until November of 2018 that I went to the doctors, and they ran all the blood tests and said that I had PCOS. Although I don't have the worst form of PCOS where I've actually got cysts on my ovaries. I don't have that, but I do have the hormonal side where my hormones were imbalanced. I had high testosterone, which is why they've diagnosed me with PCOS. So I thought to myself that my body was getting itself back on track, but then June and July I had my periods, and then nothing until I believe December of that year. So that was a little bit weird. And by December of 2018, we had already been trying for a baby for 2.5, 3 months. So we started trying for a baby actually at the end of September, while we were on holiday in Kos, in Greece. So that was that. And then the new year came around and I started going to the gym a couple of times a week. And I noticed that I was starting to get my periods back. So I thought to myself, okay, well, it's clearly a weight issue that's going on here. That's not helping the PCOS, which is probably what caused the PCOS. Because when you gain a lot of weight, it imbalances your hormones and therefore causes a diagnosis of PCOS. So I believe that I had a period in December, January and February. Not sure about March. I don't think I had one in March. And I didn't have one in April. But then come May, the beginning of May 2019, I took an ovulation strip test. I'd been taking them on and off ever since we'd started trying, because when you start trying, you need to look out for when you're ovulating, when you're releasing an egg, so that you can time things for the best chance of actually falling pregnant. So I was doing ovulation tests, and I took an ovulation test, and for the first time ever, it showed positive. Now, if you don't know about ovulation tests, they always have 2 lines, whereas a pregnancy test only has 2 lines if you're actually pregnant. But an ovulation test has 2 lines whether you are ovulating or not. But the first line on the ovulation test, I can never remember if it's the test or the control line. I think it's the test line. The test line, I'm going to say, has to be as dark as or darker than the other line, the control line, to be a positive for ovulation. And so I had 2 dark lines. I was like, oh, I'm ovulating. So I thought to myself, okay, well, it's time to make a baby. But for some strange reason, I decided to take a pregnancy test just after I took that ovulation test. And can you believe that pregnancy test came back positive? Like, it wasn't even, there was no faint line. There was definitely 2 lines on that pregnancy test. So I went and showed Michael, and I said to him, look. And he said to me, yeah, but it's faint. Hasn't it got to be 2 strong lines? I was like, no, that's ovulation test. Pregnancy test, if you've got 2 lines, you're pregnant. So he took his glasses off like an old man, and he was looking at it, and he was like, oh, I don't know if I believe it. It's like, well, there's 2 lines there, there's 2 lines. So then the day after that, we actually went and bought a whole bunch of different pregnancy tests, and they all came back positive. So we was like, okay, didn't expect that, but we're pregnant, gonna have a baby, that's exciting. We told his mum and dad, they were really excited, and his brother, and we told my family as well. But then there was like, it was really weird at this time, because I'd had a bleed maybe a week and a half before I took this pregnancy test, and I thought to myself, once I'd found out that the test was positive, I thought to myself, that's really weird, because I've only just had what I thought was a period. And then the bleeding came back, and it wasn't a heavy bleed or anything like that. It was more spotting. But then I took myself to the early pregnancy unit at St Thomas's. They done an early internal scan, and they found out that that was an ectopic pregnancy, and it was growing in my right tube. Luckily I didn't need any intervention, because about 3 days after this it came away naturally. And I think I'm going to do a video on my experience with an ectopic pregnancy, if anybody is interested in that, because when that was happening to me, I know that I was looking for videos and things to relate to on the internet, so I can do that. So that pregnancy ended quite quickly. I think we only knew that I was pregnant for about 4 days before we knew that it wasn't gonna be a viable pregnancy. So that was obviously an upsetting time, because we at that point had been trying for 8 months to have a baby, and then for it to be given to us and then just taken away like that, it wasn't very nice, obviously. But with all of the research and the videos and everything that I've seen online, I kind of knew that not every single pregnancy is viable, not every single pregnancy sticks, unfortunately. So we were like, okay, it's sad and it's a shame, but we're gonna keep trying for a baby. So that was in May, and I believe by the end of May we had started trying for another baby. In October I found a multivitamin by Pregnacare called Pregnacare Before Conception. Now I started taking this on October the 6th 2019, bearing in mind I obviously wasn't ovulating because I wasn't getting my monthly periods, and I was never having positive ovulation tests apart from that one time that I was pregnant, because ovulation tests can actually come back as positive if you're pregnant, and I think it's to do with the different types of protein in your urine or something like that. So I started taking Pregnacare Before Conception on the 6th of October, and on the 11th of October I actually ovulated, and that was confirmed by an ovulation strip test. And I was also using OvuSense, the fertility monitor, so that was confirmed by that, although I had literally started just using OvuSense about the same time as I started taking the Pregnacare. So it didn't tell me that I was going to ovulate because it hadn't adjusted to my body's rhythm yet. But once ovulation had occurred, it did confirm with the temp drop and the rise that I did ovulate. So ovulated on the 11th of October. And by the 21st of October, we had a very, very, very faint line on a pregnancy test. Now, obviously, we were a little bit scared because of what happened in our previous pregnancy. And with having PCOS, I've also got an underactive thyroid, and I'm not exactly a slim person. We obviously knew that my risk of miscarrying or a complication happening early on in pregnancy was quite high. We were a little bit worried, a little bit scared, but we told our families anyway. We told our immediate families anyway, like our siblings, and we told his mum and dad. But I didn't tell my dad and his wife until I was about 8 weeks, I think, because I don't see my dad and his wife as often as I would like to, because they live in Ashford and I live in London and work and everything like that, so I don't see him a lot, and I didn't want to just tell my dad over a text message or a phone call. So I saved it. I didn't put it online or anything like that until I made sure that I told my dad and his wife. So I went down there to give them some presents for I think a birthday and Father's Day that I hadn't seen them since, and I put a little heart plaque in a smaller gift bag, and it said, "We don't know whether it's a he or she, all that we know is that you are grandparents to be." And I put that in there, and my stepmom opened it and she read it and she said to me, "Really?" So that was a really nice reaction. So everyone was really excited. We were obviously a little bit apprehensive because of what our experience was before, but still really low-key excited and happy. And then I think on the 4th of November, I started having pains on my right side ovary, and that's the side where I had the previous ectopic. So I was like, oh no, not again. So I went for an early scan at the early pregnancy unit at St Thomas's Hospital, and they done an internal scan, and luckily the soon-to-be baby, because it wasn't even an embryo or a fetus yet, it was just a sac that the little yolk was in, and I don't even think at that stage it had a heartbeat because it was that early. So we saw that, and I knew that the pregnancy was in the right place. The sonographer said that because you had an ectopic on the right side, and this baby, or like this egg for this baby, came from the right side, it's likely to be a little bit sensitive. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So then I had to go back 2 weeks later, and we did actually see a little baby. I would show you, but I didn't print the scan off at that point, and it's on my phone, which is what I'm using to film. But the baby looked a little bit like Yoshi from Mario, and we did see the baby's heartbeat, so we were really happy with that. And from then on until 12 weeks, time dragged. Like every day felt like a week to me. Honestly, time was dragging. It was horrible. And at that point I was told that I was 6 weeks and 4 days, and the sonographer actually told us the heart rate as well of the baby, which was 143 beats per minute. And I swear, I don't know if I was just hearing things, but I swear she said a little girl by that heartbeat, because after that appointment I looked on Google, and one of the theories of whether it's a boy or a girl is if the heart rate is over 140 it's a girl, less than 140 it's a boy. And it was 143, so I was like, oh, I don't know if she said that or not. I don't know if she'd be allowed to say that, but anyway, I swear she said that. So we booked my 12-week scan for Friday the 20th of December, which was perfect timing because it was right next to Christmas, right before Christmas. And so it was really, really exciting. A little bit worried at the same time because I thought to myself, if it's bad news and it's like 5 days before Christmas, it's going to be a bit of a difficult time. But thankfully the baby was okay. We saw the heartbeat, but I was a couple of days too early for all of their screening tests that they like to do. So they like to test for Down syndrome and all the different variations of Down syndrome. So couldn't do that, so we rebooked for 2 weeks later on January the 3rd, and that's when we went for our proper 12-week scan. Again, we saw the heartbeat, and the baby was so active. I wasn't expecting the baby to be that active, if I'm honest. It was lying on its back, and it was kicking itself from one side of the sack that it was in up a slope to the other side, and then sliding back down and doing it again. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I didn't know that they were that active at that stage, but clearly they are. Oh, also at my first 12-week scan, the one where I was a little bit too early, we did get a scan picture. This is it here. That's the baby's head. there, and that's the baby's body. And then at the proper 12-week scan, we also did get a picture. It's a little bit reflective. But that is the head, body, and there's a little hand there. You can see the little hand. So that was that. What else can I say about the 12-week scan? Oh, they carried out the screening test that they like to carry out, and our baby has the lowest possible chance of having anything like Down syndrome. Obviously, we know that things, touch wood, it does not, but things could still go wrong, but we're just so happy to have, so far, a healthy baby with no complications right now. At first, the baby was lying on its belly over the placenta, which is a bit weird. And the sonographer said to us that we need to move the baby to get proper measurements. It needs to be lying on its back. So I had to jiggle my body about a little bit. I had to go and empty my bladder, because every time I go there, they tell me that my bladder's too full. I don't know how that works. But I had to go and empty my bladder and jiggle a little bit. And then the baby was upside down, like doing a handstand in there. And then she said, I'm not sure that the baby's gonna, I don't think this baby is gonna flip. They're a little bit naughtier at this sort of stage, she said to me. So I was like, oh, great, an awkward baby. But then as she was scanning I think she was scanning the brain, she was really zoomed into the brain, showing us, or it could have been the heart, one of those. We actually see the baby flip, and it completely flipped, lied. It was laying on its back. So I managed to get the measurements, and then it was all curled up, like its head was, you could see its head, but then its body was really curled up, so you couldn't really get a clear picture of the rest of its body. But she did see the baby's 2 hands and 2 feet before it flipped, and that all looked fine. She also looked at the face as well. And the things these sonographers are trained to see, like they see so much detail that obviously you wouldn't know what you're looking for unless you're trained. So that was that. Everything was fine. Oh, I didn't actually mention my first due date that I calculated myself at on the apps that you put all your dates into was the 3rd of July. And then when I went for my 2 early scans, or no, my second early scan, because they couldn't date me at the first one because it was too small to measure. But on the second one, they dated me and they said that my due date was actually the 9th of July. But then at my proper 12-week scan, she said, your due date has changed a little bit. This will be your final due date, and that is the 6th of July. So baby is due the 6th of July. We are going to have a summer baby, which I'm not looking forward to, because it means I'm going to have to push a baby out in the summer, and I don't like the summer. But never mind, we've got a baby. So that's it with appointments. Symptom wise, I'm going to make a whole video of 2-week wait symptoms, because I know that when I was in the 2-week wait, that was a painful time. And I was just constantly Googling and YouTubing the different symptoms. So I'm going to do a whole video on a 2-week wait symptoms, because I think it's worth it. But symptoms from weeks 4 to 6. When I was about 5 weeks pregnant, I had heartburn and acid, but only at night when I was going to bed. And it wasn't too bad, it was just a little bit annoying. I've written a list here, and this notebook, I picked it up. It's the Very Hungry Caterpillar, in case you don't remember this from your childhood. But I picked this up, it was in the pound shop, and it was the only one on the shelf, and it just reminded me of me, because when I first found out that I was pregnant in the first few weeks, I was so hungry. I couldn't stop eating. I don't normally crave like big meals, and so when I was craving a roast dinner or a massive spaghetti bolognese, Oh my God. And you know what? I would finish that roast dinner or that spaghetti bolognese, and on my last bite, I would say, I'm still hungry. I couldn't believe how hungry I was. So, got this book because it reminded me of me, the very hungry caterpillar, because I was very hungry. I had sore and heavy boobs and mild cramping and pulls and twinges in like the what kind of, how would you explain that, like near the ovaries and the uterus kind of area. I was tired, like really tired. I remember being at work and God, it was just a struggle to get through the day. My eyeballs were actually stinging. Like they were stinging because I was so tired. I was also having a full night of dreams. Like from the minute I fell asleep to the minute I woke up, I just knew that I was dreaming. And I could also remember those dreams the day after as well, which never usually happens. I can never usually remember my dreams. But I was remembering those dreams and I was having a full night of dreams. It was weird. My stomach muscles as well, like my flabs, my ab area, was aching, as if I'd just done a couple of sit-ups. Not a couple of sit-ups, a few good sit-ups. So it was really aching. And I also had just 1.5 days of nausea. I was waiting for the sickness to hit me. I was expecting the sickness to hit me. I even got worried that the sickness didn't hit me and take me down because I was waiting for it and I was expecting it. But it didn't. The sickness just did not hit me at all. I had a day and a half of constant nausea. Then it went away. I was a little bit emotional and I was also a little bit anxious as well because I just knew that I just wanted this pregnancy to be okay. I wanted it to progress as it should progress. And because of the previous experience of an ectopic pregnancy, I obviously knew it wasn't ectopic at that stage, but it still worried me that I would lose the baby or something would be wrong with the baby. And at one point, I even managed to convince myself that the baby's heart had stopped beating and I was just waiting to pass it. Like that is how anxious I got at the beginning of this pregnancy. I actually bought myself a Doppler, an at-home Doppler, which a lot of people do not recommend, but I was just using it. I wasn't using it to convince myself that the pregnancy was perfect and everything was going okay. I just wanted to know that the baby still had a heartbeat and it was still alive in there, because that was what was panicking me the most, having a miscarriage. That was really scary. As soon as I got pregnant, which is really weird for me, but I actually took a dislike to chocolate. I didn't like it. It just didn't taste the same. It was too sickly, too sweet. And I didn't actually eat chocolate for weeks, which is weird because I usually eat chocolate on a regular, like too much. And then from weeks 7 to now, what I believe to be round ligament pain showed up. And I've googled this, and apparently you don't get it until your second trimester, but I am telling you, I had this pain at 7 weeks. And it's where there's a ligament attached to from your uterus to your groin. And obviously when your uterus is growing, because the baby's growing, the ligament is being stretched. And it was the worst at night time. And it's mostly on my left. It's like on my left groin area. When I try to turn over in the night, it hurts. It pulls and just feels like I'm gonna like rip my leg out of its socket or something like that. It's not a nice feeling at all, and it's actually really frustrating. And at this point, nearly 15 weeks, it's still there, and it's actually given me a little bit of a waddle, which, you know, is annoying me because I'm not heavily pregnant. The baby is not a massive baby, but I'm waddling because of the discomfort of the round ligament pain. Not because it's baby all up in there yet, because it's not, but this pain is really annoying. So that showed up at around week 7 and it's still there today. My cravings so far have been cheese, crisps, olives and meat in them. And just the thought of olives makes my mouth water a little bit, yeah. Because of that and the dislike of chocolate, I've got a feeling it's a little boy. But we don't have our gender scan until the 25th of January, so we'll find out then. Mike thinks we're having a girl. He literally keeps calling the baby she and her because he's that convinced we're having a girl. So we'll see. I've also had really, really bad nausea when I've been brushing my teeth, especially the back teeth and when I brush my tongue. Takes me a while to recover from that. Every time I brush my teeth, it's not nice. And I also heave when I'm coughing. Like if I need to cough, I heave. Like in the cough. I don't know why. It's just the coughing must make me feel a bit sick and I end up heaving. It's really weird. And obviously my emotions are a little bit all over the place. So some weird things that I've actually cried at. I was watching one of the Harry Potter films and Hagrid came back to Hogwarts. Cried my eyes out. Mike showed me pictures of calico kittens. Cried. I was hungry. Cried. What else? Oh, and Rosie, my cat, she looked sad, so I cried. I don't know. Also, one of the most annoying symptoms of this pregnancy is that I've literally had, since October when I got pregnant, I've had 3 colds, 2 cold sores. So I had cold sore, cold sore, and I've just got over the 3rd cold. So that's been really annoying. And because I've had these colds kind of back to back, and pregnancy makes your nasal passages swollen anyway, at night I can't breathe through my nose, and so I've become a mouth breather and it dries my mouth out and I wake up with a really, really sore throat, which is not nice at all. Do not like that. That really irritates me. And not that it's important in any way, but weight gain so far is about 5 pounds, which I went into this knowing that I was an already chubby person and knowing that I'm going to gain a little bit more weight. What can you do? I'm happy to be back filming because I actually really enjoy filming. I don't know if you've ever actually sat down, if you don't do YouTube, if you've ever actually sat down and talked to a camera that you know is going to go out to an audience, but it's kind of therapeutic in a way because you're kind of offloading everything to these people that are watching, and I just really enjoy it. I thought I would share a few little bits, there's not a lot here, that I have actually bought this pregnancy. Now I'm like, you know, I'm expanding. There's a baby inside me that's growing and it's already making my middle section look real podgy, even podgier than it was before, because let's be honest, it was a little bit podgy before. A little bit, a lot, anyway, podgy. And it's even more podgy now. So can't wear jeans with buttons, can't wear anything with buttons, like trouser wise, and even stretchy like maternity jeans are uncomfortable because you can wear them for a week but then the next week they don't fit. So I've been to Primark today and I actually bought a few pairs of these leggings because I picked a pair of these up before Christmas and I've wanted to live in them. They are so comfortable, and obviously leggings are real stretchy. So it's just these ones here. I mean, Primark have a lot of different leggings, but they are the £5 ones. £5 ones. And I could actually get the size below what I normally get pre-pregnancy. So this is a large and it's a UK 14 to 16. And they're just so comfortable. And they're really soft as well. They actually feel quite thick. They're not see-through. Not see-through. So I've picked up 3 new pairs of those. So now I have 4 in total, because I've got a feeling I'm going to be wearing leggings for a while. And I've also picked up a couple of books as well. So I've picked up this. It's the Blissful Baby Expert book. And this talks about, it says everything you need to know for easier, happier parenting. And I actually saw this on Louisa Zisman's Instagram. She recommended this. And it just helps with preparation of before the baby is born. So it will have lists of things that you should buy, or that people buy, and then next to it, it's actually got whether it's essential or just handy to have, or not really needed because you won't use, which I find quite good, because when you're buying for a baby or preparing for a baby, I know that I have been thinking to myself, well, what is essential? What do I absolutely need? And what is something that a lot of people buy but regret buying and turns out to be a little bit of a waste? So pick that up for this reason. But it does also talk about, let me just, going into hospital, like a hospital bag, coming home, feeding, sleep, weaning, common problems and illnesses. And you've got the development stages from birth to 24 months as well. So that's going to help a lot for me, I think. I've read a little bit of it, and it seems really good so far. And I was also recommended this book by Mike's cousin Kelly, because she had this when she was expecting her babies, and she said that she loved reading this every single night, which I have been doing. So it literally goes through every single day of your pregnancy, and it counts down how many days you've got left, and you know, all the different things that you need to know about each. So 14 weeks and 5 days, we have 177 days to go. And it also tells you about all the screening tests that they do, and if you're high risk of Down syndrome, it tells you about all of that as well. The book was a little bit pricey. It was about £18, but it's massive and it's hardback. And you're probably going to use this a lot in your pregnancy. What else does it have? It also has a breakdown of each week. So this is your 34th week, what the baby looks like, and all different pointers about what the baby's doing and how it's developing and stuff like that. So it's quite a helpful book. So I thought I would pick that up as well. And I just have to show this because it's the first item of clothing that the baby has been given. We didn't buy this. This was given to me by my colleague and friend Jodie. I honestly could have cried when she gave me this, because look how cute it is. It says, "Oh, hello, little rainbow." And I actually can't wait to put the baby in this. I think I want this for the baby's first outfit, because it just is so fitting, because it says hello. But anyway, that's that. I have bought a few other things in preparation for the baby, and we've also been given some toys as well, some baby toys. So I might, once I've actually had more to add to that, I might make a little bit of a video about what I've bought so far, if anyone is interested in that. That's it. I really hope that you've enjoyed this little back to YouTube 4 to 14 weeks pregnancy update. I I post quite a bit on Instagram, mainly in the stories section, so if you're interested, go and follow me on there. And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. That would be great. And I'll speak to you in my next video. See you later.